So yeah, we have finally done with the book. We have finished with Forge of Darkness, Book 1 of the Kharkanas Trilogy by Stephen Erikson. This is Chapter 20, the final chapter. And it's a big one, not just because of page count, but also because of content. And let's get into this. It starts off with Rise Harat, the historian, and that's appropriate. It ends with a poet, Galan, the poet, who is the one who is basically telling us this tale. He's the one in the very beginning when this in the prelude. It is Galan, the poet, who is telling this tale to Fisher Kel Tath. So it ends with him signing off for now in this book 1. So that's a little different, but it's appropriate that this book opens with the historian, because tales weave from out of history. They go from history in the making to stories in the telling, right? So there you go. So he's waking up this young priest who's the Enda Salon, who's been haunted by his journey into the forest earlier, and he's waking this guy up and saying, "Hey, you're not asleep." And the guy's like, "How can I know?" He's in such despair, and this guy's despairing because of the changes that are coming. Mother Dark's changes on the land, and we're going to see what those changes are in a little bit here. We move on to Orvental. I think we're kind of wrapping up his storyline in this first book. He's among all these adults now walking around Kharkanas, and he feels the weight of their presence, and he flees from that. He doesn't want to be around these great people, Lord Animander, and so such. And so, he considers some of these people heroes. He knows he has nothing to fear, but he flees nonetheless. And so he's asking questions like, "Will my skin turn black?" and so on and so forth. And we have Hishtula and Grip Galas, who the Grip Galas, of course, is a servant of Animander, and we have them overseeing Orphantal, and we have let's see, some more talk about between Silchas and Animander, wondering about Andorus, their brother, how deep his despair goes, what his grief means, etc., etc. Then the High Priestess Emerald comes out asking that Animander join her with Mother Dark, and she's taking audience with the Azathane Grizen Farrell and asked her first son to join them. And let's see here. Orphantal, he's making a fool of himself. He thinks he's making a fool of himself. He's not. And then Grip Galas and Hishtula declare their love for each other in front of Lord Animander. And they were worried about that, but Animander, he is nothing but what's the word I'm looking for? gracious with this news and wishes that, and then basically tells them, "Hey, go do your thing," you know. So then he goes to see Mother Night, Animander, and he's kind of irritated that the Arzathane is there. He's like, what keeps you here, dude? All right, and he says the Grisenfaro says, "I am known as the Protector, and this is no welcome aspect. I appear when I am needed most, yet in hope most distant. My attendance alone is a sour comment on your state of affairs, alas." That's very interesting. Um, and they speak further with Mother Doc there. Let's see here. All right. Oh yes. So they're wondering. He's asking about this creature called Triss who came out of the sea, Vitir, VITR. Yeah, and she was born of that. Grisen Farrell informs them that two Azathane set out to explore the mystery of the caustic sea. Perhaps it is one of them that has returned. And he also lets them know because um, he he says something about a description, Animander, and he says in Grisen Farrell's like that doesn't mean anything. Um, if desired, we could hover before you as a bird. So, or a butterfly or whatever. And so, that the and does the power that she unveiled tell you nothing? He says no, only that it was careless. Um, and he tells them that there's some prescriptions against such blatant interference as Triss um, you know did. And yeah, and so even though he's saying all this, the first son, Animanus, says, "Yeah, you seem rather passive in your resentment." And he says, "Well, I am not the one imposed upon, as the Tice do not fall under my influence." And the high priestess Amber was like, "What? What does that mean?" Um, and Mother Doc was not surprised by that, though. But it just gives us this sense that these Azathane are, are gods. They have a sphere of influence. They have a what do you call it? You know, things, profile, something like that. Anyways, um, all right. So, Mother Doc, they finished their conversation, and there was something that she said. She says, "Azazane, with what you have told me of the events taking place to the west, by solitude alone can I ensure a long existence and a role in all that is to come." Hmm. What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means, to be honest with you. You know, it's yeah, we'll see. I guess there's something to that, but I'm not sure exactly what that means. So we move on to let's see here. We get a little wrap up of Kataspala at the time. Um, he's lamenting how everything ends. He's still trying to paint, even though he sees nothing but gray and muteness, and everything ends. Yeah. The blind man paints history. The voiceless historian mimes the tale. Interesting. And that we move on to, let's see here. Ah, yes, it was some words from. Let's see. One of the one of the officers. Yes, one of Anamanda's officers. He says, "I have had many thoughts on civil war in the times leading to this, but not once did I imagine it so shrouded in confusion." It isn't that the way, really. Soldiers they think in more black and white terms. Do what I'm told. I have orders. I go. I do. I follow my orders, and that makes life simple. Um, and this guy, he's lamenting the confusion that is the greater reality of a civil war. So, yeah, and then we go. Let's see here. To we find out that Skara Bandaris, who is one of the Legion's officers, comes in, demands to Sergeant Redas, "Who is your commanding officer?" And he said, "You are." And I said, "What orders did I leave with you?" And so he finds out that this lieutenant in Fayen Manand, um, took some orders from who else but Han Rao, and that is what led to the murder of Lord Jane and his daughter. The 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 soon-to-be bride of um, Anamanda's brother. So, and Anestia, that was her name, and she was killed. And so, this, this captain, Skara Bendaris, is very, very pissed off. The lieutenant, the sergeant says, "I am a soldier of the Legion. I follow the orders of my superiors." And so that's a very, um, you know, that hints of, even though they're wrong, you still follow orders. That that hints of, Nazism and stuff like that. But it's so gray. It's so deeper than that. But it really does go there. This guy did not care what the orders were. He just did them. So that leads to a deeper problem within that person. That he had no doubts about this stuff. So Skara Bandaras takes some of his troops, those loyal to him, and takes off. So that's another split there in the Legion. All right, and then we go to there's the historian. There's Sintara. There's the high priestess. Is she speaking to the historian? Oh, she's reflecting on the words that she got from Mother Dark, and she's wondering. There was a conjuration underway in the courtyard, and the historian tells her. He reports to her. He says, "High priestess, this darkness in the courtyard is conjuring. It bleeds," and that's like, dun, 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 what's going to happen here, right? And so then we find out that this bleeding darkness is an opening gateway, out of which comes Lord Draconus, and that was very dramatic, very, very awesome scene. And he has returned with a gift. Um, and he says to the high priestess, "Seek the emptiness within you so I may speak to Mother Dark. Surrender the will of your eyes so that she may witness my gift." she says, I don't know how to do that. And he said, well, just try. Damn it. And so she does it, and it works. And this gift he calls a Tarondai. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Terondai. I'll have to look that up. Anyways, I'm sure it's means something. And then Emerald can feel her goddess, and Draconess says, I give you, beloved, I give you the gate of Corral Galain, and darkness blossoms, and the goddess fled. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. And at that point, Grisenfall is watching Mother Dark inside, and he winces. The shock that trembled through the water, he heard in his mind the wretched howl of the river god as the darkness broke the barrier and rushed down into the depths. That howl became a death cry, and then it was gone. The river flowed with night. Wow. Mother Dark eventually asked Grisenfall, now that their god is dead, what will become of the deniers? He says, I cannot say, Mother. Perhaps they will walk the shore in eternal longing for the world they have lost. And of course, in the Book of the Fallen, what do the Sheikh do? They walk the shore. So that's a cool connection there, right? And then Grisenfall gives us a little history here. He gives us a little information about all these Azathani. He's telling her not to blame Draconess for what's coming here, that the war was started by another Azathani. The one you named Triss, who walked into and then out of the Sea of Vir, my own children, but most of all, this belongs to Krull, however you say that, who answered worship with generosity, who assailed by prayers written in spilled blood, gave answer to them. But the power he surrendered was not intended only for those who worshipped him. He has given it freely to everyone. By this, new sorceries are born. That's a common theme we see in the Book of the Fallen as well. By this, the forces in opposition are given names and aspects. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Aspects. Gods have aspects. Yeah. They are given realms of influence. A storm awaits us all, Mother Dark. To save you, to save your children, who worship you, Draconess has done only what was necessary. The gate of Corral Galain now belongs to you, and overnight you now have dominion. Yeah. But with the birth of one gate, there will be others. And so, back over to the Sea of Vir, where the waters Spinark Durav are doing their rounds, checking this place out. A gate opens. And he's like, Abyss, take us all. And from that gates, dragons emerge from the emanation, wings outstretched at tails, scything in the air in their wake. Yes. So that's one gate open. 9 dragons come out. Don't know what that's going to mean for the future. That's what we get there. Wow. That was pretty cool. Pretty cool. And yeah. All right. So then Anamanda's taken off. He's going to find his brother. He wants to find his brother. He runs into Calvin and Brood. Calvin and Brood, I think he's going with him. All right. And he tells her that... No, he tells Anamander, Calvin and Brood, that His mother Dark now has the power of his Azathani. The power is born of blood and in the birth of a god or goddess. It is that entity that must first surrender it. And you who are to be her children, you will surrender your own in answer. And by this, darkness is forged. Yeah. Very cool. And Amanda's like, I didn't make a bargain like that. He says, faith cares nothing for bargains, dude. All right. But he does tell him that there will be peace, of course. When and how that is, who knows. We go back to Arathan hanging out with the Jagged. And he says, Hot tells me, there is a gate now. So there's another gate opening up where the Jagged live. And it's a realm, a way into the realm of the dead. Hood means to take it. So there we go. There we got Hood coming in. And a bunch of things answered his call. Lost souls, grieving souls, one and all. Yeah. Gothos is crying. That's big because Jagged don't cry, right? All right, then we ended up with this. There's this little tiny epigraph at the end where it's the poet Galan talking to Fisher Keltath, and he says, "Yeah, time for a couple old men to weep here. I don't want to talk anymore. Let's put this to rest." Of course, that's going to be the next book. So, wow, that is the end of Forge of Darkness. That is, it's epic. It's an epic fantasy, so makes perfect sense. Yeah. So, some clerical stuff here. That is the end of my Kharkanas deep dive for now. I am going to be taking the summer off from Kharkanas. I will be hopefully delving into the fall, not the fall, just Fall of Light. This fall/winter, we'll see. We'll see when I have the time to get into that. But this has been amazing, just going through this like this and really, really looking deep into it. And I know that I probably missed a million things in here, because otherwise it would take me 5 years to go through through a book if I went any deeper than I did. So yeah, so I missed a bunch, most likely, and it's just all really interesting, and it's really interesting some of the things that seem a little different than the Book of the Fallen, and yet all the things that remind us of the Book of the Fallen and thematically tie into the Book of the Fallen. It's more about the themes tying into that series, this whole world, these worlds, than it is about the specific events being exact or anything like that. And that's typical of stories and history, the stories that we get out of history, which is what our poet Galan is really on about. So, yeah, if you followed me through this journey, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're able to give me some feedback on what you found in this read through of Forge of Darkness. And these videos will be around for a long time, so hopefully people will watch them when they get to this book. All right, enough talk. Be good to each other. Thank you for watching.